surfaces, just a landing block. Got them pretty well signed up and clean. Here's our complete kit: float, throttle shaft, choke shaft, screen on the gas intake, butterfly wheels. Here's our new brass Venturi tube, carburetor kit, and the Venturi tube from Mark's Carbon Magneto Service, Rice, Minnesota. The gaskets say made in USA. The kit is extremely complete, well made. Parts feel excellent. I don't know if it's cheap Chinese stuff, but it sure seems to be pretty decent quality.
Pretty good.
What everything we're going to put together. Got it off of eBay. Has a complete description, all the different parts and everything, kind of how it goes back together, where everything goes, measurements for the float. Got adjustment procedure, kind of how to adjust everything on it. So we got everything pretty well cleaned. Had the studs out last weekend, cleaned them all up, cleaned this mating surface up, so we didn't take them back out. We didn't clean everything off the outside, just some of the gunk. Wanted to leave that old look to it, patina. Can't have a shiny carburetor, clean carburetor on an old rusty tractor. TSX 241. It's a B series, is what ours is. Got the plug out of the bottom, both plugs out of the bottom there. Cleaned everything out. We're not going to mess with this. We think it comes out. I think it comes out. Isaac doesn't think it does. The way it's in there, I think we're going to leave it. Blew through it really good. Carburetor cleaner, compressed air. Everything seems to be flowing good through it. Passages are all open. So I think we're just going to cross our fingers, call it good. Got everything cleaned out in here, pretty decent. Cleaned out the channel where that Venturi tube sets. We'll wipe this out one more time with a clean rag. We just keep getting more and more and more rust coming out of the casting between the denatured ethanol and the carburetor cleaner, compressed air, nylon brushes. Just keep getting more and more and more coming out of it. So we're going to start putting it together, and the choke stop is bent. Don't know if we're going to mess with that or I will snap it off. So the choke is kind of not closing, but it's not completely parallel inside of the neck there. It's angled a little bit, so we may work on that. Isaac's got his complete kit. He's going to follow his directions and work on assembly here. New float, new needle and seat for that. I mean, everything here, new screws that hold them together.
It's legit.
Pretty well think it's a total deal here. So we're gonna get putting everything back together and see what happens. Okay, we got Rusty out in the driveway. Kind of slow going on everything. You can kind of see new plug wires are in. I ran them this morning. Got our belt tightened back up. There's our fuel filter rigged in. Looks like we're seeping just a little bit there again. But I think that was doing it the other day too. We'll probably get another little piece when we redo the fuel line. We got our carburetor rebuilt, master kit in it. Got some new parts, pretty much everything in there. It was pretty rough getting the jets out. Had to drill one of them out and heat it and chase it to get it cleaned out. Another one we had to use a screw extractor. Broke one little groove in a jet putting back in because the casting, the threads were boogered in the casting. But I think it's going to work. I think we're going to be able to get by with it. Got our air intake pipe on. Rubber fits pretty tight on the pipe, So on the tube, just to clamp on the carburetor because the neck's a little smaller. We're gonna have to do something up here. This is rusted out up on top, up under there, and might just get a whole new top for the air filter up there. They make some that's just got slots or holes drilled in the top and doesn't have a jar on there. Still don't know exactly what that's for. Got the belt tightened up a little bit more. It was flopping pretty good last time. It was bumping the bottom of the distributor, so we'll see how it goes. Shot of the other 2 plug wires up under there, ran them through. Most of the videos I see, that tube up there for all the wiring is gone, and people just either run them out and zip tie them all together, or they zip tie them to the bottom of that tube, because it wasn't super easy getting them through there. Had to work on it, clean a lot of dirt out, tie a string to one end, pull it through, and then retie, pull the new one through, tape it up to keep it clean, getting all messed up. This is our temporary fuel line, just zip tied up in here to run. We're gonna get put a new piece of metal line up here. The other one was kind of boogered up, so we got that up on there. We'll do metal, either flare this and connect it, or we'll get a whole new piece and we'll run metal fuel line all the way up and over, and then just cut it off for our fuel filter, which probably not gonna need, but I can't get the bowl off of the fuel shut off over there on the petcock and all that, or whatever. I'm afraid I'm gonna break the glass trying to get it off. So the only way to clean everything is probably with a regular filter. So we'll see how it goes. Got all of our linkages hooked back up. The throttle pull, the rod's bent a little bit so it hangs, but it does work and function. The stop back on the back side for the throttle, or the choke, was bent. There's a little lever and it was bent, and actually whenever the choke was pushed completely off with the rod pushed down, it was actually closing the choke butterfly just a little bit, so it wasn't completely parallel going in with the neck. So we straightened it out, so now that when you turn the choke off, it's completely open as far as it can go. So we cleaned up the carburetor a little bit. Was gonna completely degrease it and soak it and scrub it and soak it and scrub it, but like Isaac said, we're not gonna paint it. We'll just leave it on there. It's not hurting anything. It did clean up some. It's nowhere near show quality, but it's a factory, so it matches the tractor. Got too many shiny parts on here. Isaac wants to drag it down the gravel road to dirty it up because it doesn't match, but that's okay. I think it'll be fine. So we did that. Got our battery back in. Can't think of anything else really that we did, Isaac, besides
the gas tank up.
Well, we got some good ethanol-free premium gas in them now. Put 5 gallons in it. No leaks over here. I think either our float is adjusted right and our needle and seat are good, or I don't know.
They're all wrong.
Or it's all wrong and there's no gas going in the carburetor, but nothing leaking out. Although, with this being on here and being tightened up, I thought about leaving that off just so we could see if we had anything leaking out, because we won't know it unless it starts to seep. But I thought if we were going to try to adjust the carburetor the way it should be, I'd want to have the air intake tube on, the oil. This is filled with oil, cleaned out from last time, and have all this installed. So whenever we adjust the carburetor, it's going to be good to go. So we have not fired it yet this morning. It's completely ice cold. Been sitting in the garage since last week. I did turn the clamp and get it tightened up, so maybe it won't leak so bad there. This front bolt was loose. It might have been loose to get this off. I had to turn it because the nut was actually hitting. There wasn't enough clearance because it was the way it was clocked. So we turned it out a little bit. This white back in here is all the dust from the gasket under here. We zoomed it with a disc on a die grinder thing. So the gas is turned on. Isaac, go ahead.
The cable's hooked up, the linkage for the
Yep,
throttle.
I hooked all the governor and the throttle choke linkage up. Give it about half gas and pull your choke out. And get ready to put your choke in, and let's just let's see what happens. And looky there. And it's going to be cold, so just keep it running. We'll get it warmed up before we adjust on anything.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that was pretty successful.
It's way better than it was with that carburetor.
Go ahead and give just a little bit more. A little more RPM. There you go. Still got a leak back here. May have to take that off and pack it. Kind of an old school trick. Just take some aluminum foil and kind of fold it up and run it around that V and that clamp goes. And then whenever you pinch your clamp on there, the aluminum foil actually kind of acts like a gasket that will tighten up. I've seen that done years ago on big trucks with flex pipe and everything. Still leaking a little bit. I can feel it blowing, but not as bad as it was. I'd say that's pretty successful for a first fire up. Rebuild master carb. It's basically everything inside of it's brand new that we could get out. Everything that's removable was replaced. Float, pin, spring, all of the jets were replaced. Gaskets, packing. The belt is running good. A little wobble on the generator, but the belt's not flopping like it was. I think the plug wires must be installed correctly. We don't have a miss. Everything fired right off.
That's so fast it started.
Yeah, it did start really easy as far as spinning over. Running just a little on the rich side, but I don't think it's as rich as it was with the old carburetor on. Everything that I've read, even the instructions that came with the carburetor, said when you adjust it out to stay on the rich side of your adjustments. It's better to be a little fat than go a little lean and run it hot or anything like that. So got a little seep up there on top of the oil canister. That's wanting to seep a little bit. I did not replace the gasket or the crush washer in there. I don't know. I think we had it running after we changed the oil last week, didn't we? Yeah. Or did we change it not? I honestly cannot remember if we ran it. I thought maybe we started it to check the oil pressure. I can't remember. We'll have to go back. Okay. What's it running? 25. What's your amp meter showing?
It's 0 to 3.
I'd like to have it right around 0 or maybe a needle over. When you rev it up, I'm sure it'll change, but we can adjust the generator to keep the current down on it. We don't want to cook the battery or overwork the generator. Just to maintain is all we want to do. Still got a leak there, I can hear it, but not bad. So we'll you want to go ahead and try to run it up the road and see how it does?
Are we going to adjust this one?
No, I want it good and hot before we adjust on it. So just see what it does. If it sputters and coughs going up the driveway, we'll work on it. But I was wondering, we put the rubber seal on the throttle shaft, and it's a little stiff, and didn't know if the governor would be strong enough to pull it or not. Put the new felt packing in it with the brass retainer we pressed in, and then put the rubber seal on the outside, so the throttle shaft is good and tight. On that master kit, we had new throttle shaft, new choke shaft, the butterflies, I mean everything, new screws, everything that's replaceable inside the carburetor was replaced. The only thing that was left original was the throttle body piece and the bowl. Took both halves as it, put a 2x4 in a vise with some 600 grit sandpaper, and basically I sanded the halves until the mating surfaces were completely true. Give or take a spot or two, but that way the gasket seals perfectly. We got our new brass Venturi tube in it, and I think it's a win. So we'll let him put some heat into it, run it around, then we'll bring it back, and maybe if we need to do a little bit adjusting on it and see how it goes. So, no, just leave it. See what it does. Kind of doing a governor test here in third gear to see how she's gonna pull down. Not a magic deal, but I'd say for the low RPM, it's doing mighty fine. I'd say the governor's gonna work just fine.
Yeah. Doing its job.
Okay, don't bounce up here too hard. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get off, and then, okay, now don't do third gear. That's like a road gear. Just do like first or second by half throttle, and then see what it does going up the big hill with the governor. You can go down by the burn pile. You can do both if you want. Good in second now.
You want me to do it in second?
Yeah. A little bit of throttle. You got to give it some throttle.
More throttle?
A little bit.
Which part do you want me to do?
Just whichever. I'm going to need to do a little more carburetor adjusting. Can't get that stumble out of it. Put a load on it or rev it up. Let your clutch out.
Huh?
Let your clutch out, or try to stop without going downhill. Stop on the flat,
I'm working on it.
or drive it like the red mower. You got to plan your stops.
I think the alignment's stacked up
Why?
in front. Well, or maybe it's just the way I'm sitting. Because whenever I turn, it looks like this one's like this and this one's like that.
It might be. There's a third gear start going up the hill. I'd say maybe the idle low RPM might have a burble, but it definitely runs good once you get to working it, and that's probably where I'm more concerned with, because it's not a parade tractor. We're going to use it, we're going to blade with it, we're going to drag whatever Isaac can hook to with the chain. So I think as long as it runs good on throttle, may not mess with it a whole lot. I don't know. As long as it starts and runs, everything I've found is saying set them a little on the rich side anyway. Rather have it rich than lean, so might just leave it where it's at for a while, run it, and see. There he goes. High speed test. Look at him go. That's going downhill. I have to watch that front tire. Might blow a tire. Okay, so we've been driving it around. I adjusted the generator some. I wanted to lower the amps. Got them down at low idle. We dropped down just a little bit. I wanted to keep them right around 0, and we had them up about 10 at wide open throttle. So now rev it up a little bit. There we go. I just want to put the juice back in the battery. Now the stupid throttle keeps binding up. What it's doing, right up under here, shut the gas off?
That must be the reservoir.
What did you do up there?
Nothing.
We didn't burn 6 gallons of gas.
No, but if the reservoir is on.
Anyway, up there, the throttle linkage is hitting the choke rod, and that's where it's binding up. We're gonna have to figure that out. And Isaac did something over here. What did you do over here?
Nothing. I was just looking at it.
And it just died?
I was looking at it. I don't think there's any fuel in there.
And it was just on 2 turns?
Yeah.
Did you open it to reservoir?
That's what I'm doing.
Is it going in there now?
I don't see anything.
Okay, well, I know we didn't burn 6 gallons of gas just putting on it here. Yeah, I think it's full of gas. Well, here, hang on, let's do this.
I don't know what happened.
And you didn't touch anything?
I didn't touch anything. I was just looking at it. I thought,
screw that in all the way, and let's just see if we can run it out of gas if it'll die. Make sure that's shutting off. That's one way to find out.
yeah, it's going. There it went.
So we know our fuel shut-off is working.
No more gas.
Okay, open it back up.
2.
Yeah, open it to 2. Okay, I saw the bubbles. Yeah, see, we got gas running through it. And a little bit of sediment in the bottom of that bowl too. But you can see the air bubble dancing, so we got fuel going to our carburetor. And then let's see if she'll fire back up. There we go. Well, me and Isaac were talking, and with the carburetor adjustment, it still sputters a little bit. Kind of have to do some research, maybe tinker with it. But it starts up that good when it's hot on low idle. That is low idle. That's not choke. That's not playing with it. That's just turning the key and hitting the switch. So as long as it starts that good, if it's just got a little sputter or a little burble, I think we're going to run it for now. I don't want to jack with it too much. Maybe I'll get some expertise from a few old timers that I know that might be able to point me in the right direction, or it could just be that's as good as we're going to get. So we got our air tube all hooked up, got our oil bath all hooked up, no fuel leaks. We still got our oil leaks everywhere. Water level was good. It kind of pushed out a little bit where it was happy. Maybe seeping a little bit here and there. As long as it's not gushing out, I'm not going to worry about it. Got the generator turned all the way down. It went as low on the setting as I could get it, and that was showing about 0 amps. Rev it up, it comes up to right at 0. Isaac noticed on the ignition switch with the key over here that just with the key in it, and he wasn't turning it, he was just wiggling the key a little bit, and it was like sputtering or shorting out or not making good contact. So we may have a bad ignition switch, which we've talked and may just put a toggle switch here. Instead of a key, we'll just get a toggle switch, flip it up to go, down to stop.
Well, we're going to rewire some stuff.
Yeah, if
that
we
could be it.
if we rewire some stuff or whatever, but hit that one more time. That makes me so happy. It just fires right off. Let's see
Shut
it.
the gas off.
There'll still be enough in there just to
Oh,
run
yeah.
it. Let's just see if she does. That just makes me so happy because it spins so good. Maybe. Uh-oh. I just jinxed it, didn't I?
No.
There we go. Man, that makes me happy. Puts a smile on my face. I think Rusty's glad to be back in business. He was kind of wanting to argue and fight with us a little bit. He's been laying around being lazy for so long, but I think now we got some fresh fluids in them, got some new parts on them, starts and runs, got some new life in this old boy. So excited to get a blade for it. Got this box or blade adjustment, whatever they call it, box adjustment deal. It's bent. This one's bent too. I don't know, might all happen at the same time. I heated that up with a torch, got it to move, but it's bent. So I don't know if we can straighten that out, take it off, take it to the shop, put it in the press, or just get a new one. It is running rich right now. The adjustment's not right. I know it's not right, but better on the rich side than the lean side, I think. And we'll do some more adjusting on it sometime. Gonna have to put a PTO seal in it. The governor's leaking around the shaft. I thought it might have just been a governor mount gasket, about $1. I think it's actually leaking around the shaft where the lever comes out, but it's not leaking now. It was leaking and dripping the other day. I don't see it dripping now, so we might be okay on that one for now. And a lot of these little oil leaks, it's gonna be easier just to keep popping off the fluid than it is to try to pull everything apart to fix them. The PTO seal, that's not hard to change. A gasket behind that plate, and then the whole shaft and everything comes out. Knock the bearing off the shaft, and there's a seal behind it. Not too hard to do, as long as everything comes apart. The lift arm, or whatever back here, is wanting to leak out of here. Now we're out of gas.
Yeah,
And so that's going to be, you got to pull this differential cover, the axle tube out. The differential's got to come out, I think, to get to it, or at least that arm, and pull this cover off, which, again, I've watched it seen it be done. As long as it comes apart, it's not that bad. If it doesn't come apart, it's like anything else. It's going to be a booger. So I don't know. We use it. It may seal up. Get some heat into it. It may seal up. The PTO shaft, I'm not worried about. We can take care of that pretty easily. Other just little seeps and leaks, no biggie. We'll take care of it, but we may go ahead and work on that switch, rewire it, or do something different up in there. The starter switch is stiff, but it works good. Got some just old wiring up here, light wiring. It's not hooked up, just hanging. Get rid of that. The contacts up there on that resistor, I did not clean them. Probably should have, or did I? I don't think I cleaned those. I don't think. We cleaned everything down here on the solenoid and the cutout and everything. Next will be up there, but starting good. I think he's happy. So we're going to go ahead and clean up our garage, and Isaac moved everything around, mowers and scooters and stuff, to make room, did some measuring, so we can get them a permanent residency. There's our tire we polished on. Our polish is kind of wearing off a little bit. I don't think we may have,
like going 45 miles.
yeah, it's not a high speed tire. Not a high performance unit, but as long as the tube's holding some air, we're going to run it. Just know we're going to have to put a tire and tube on it probably. Everything else is is holding good, rolling good, doing good. So I think this is going to be a wrap. I think we're good for now, as long as we can keep it running. And
tune in next time when we paint it.
tune. Isaac's going to paint it with a bucket of soapy water. So got Rusty in the garage. Pretty well calling it a day. Got our drip pans, boxes underneath them to catch all of our leakage. Fits in here pretty good. Isaac rearranged. We've got to clean all of our oil and tools and stuff, but Isaac cleaned everything out of here, got it all organized and rearranged where he can stay in, and fits in pretty good. So he's got a nice warm dry place to stay, and in the winter time just roll the door up and hit the key and away he goes. And the button. So Isaac, he's been hot rodding. He wants to show you his hot rod.
Look at this.
Oh boy, hang on.
Looks can be deceiving.
Hang on. Oh boy. Wow.
It's factory.
Just about factory, so he's in the hot rodding spirit. So he's got him a new tractor and straight pipe scooter. Actually, no pipe. It's a pipeless. Right out of the cylinder. So there he is. Gonna call it good. We'll keep our drip pans under him probably through the winter, and just as long as he fires and runs, we're gonna work on that ignition switch. Maybe just put a toggle. Other than that, we just turn the gas on and turn the key, hit the starter button, and he pops right off. So as long as we keep doing that, keep polishing on that front tire over there, be good as new. Ish. So there he is. I think this is a success. We got us a project and got him about tip-top shape as he's going to get for a while. We'll just keep little by little working on him. So there he is.